School Choraleers, will now lead us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please remain standing. Sunsaray Brown, one of our honorees, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I'd like to thank the Hall 5 Choraleers and their director, Brett Wolf. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge some of our guests who have joined us this evening. Our Mayor of West Hartford, Sherry Cantor, and Town Manager, Matt Hart. From the West Hartford Board of Education, Dave Pellew and Deb Poulon. From the Connecticut Department of American Legion, Commander Tom Flowers and former Commander Lou Robinson. Representing the 1st District of the American Legion, Senior Vice Commander Bill Gibbs. American Legion Post 96 Auxiliary President Gene Berry and Treasurer of the Department of the Connecticut Foreign Legion, Chuck Berry. The American Legion was started by Congress in 1919 as a Patriot Veterans Organization. This year we are celebrating our centennial anniversary. We are a global veterans organization with a membership of over 2 million people. Our post, the Velage Post 96, was started in 1922, and this year marks our 97th year of service to our veterans and our community. On the back of the program is described our mission. The ceremony this evening is without a doubt a program that we consider to be key to providing deserved recognition of the young men and women who have chosen to serve their country. On the table you'll find information about some of our programs that we sponsor for use in the town, and also some small red poppies. The Remembrance Poppy has been used since World War I to commemorate military personnel who have died in battle. It was inspired by the World War I poem in Flanders Field. They were first adopted by American Legion to commemorate American soldiers killed in the Great War. At this time, I'd like to ask the Post 96 Commander, Jeffrey Cole, to say a few words.
Thank you, Colonel Knoll. You okay out there? I'm glad to be here this evening, and I'm glad that you're all able to make it as well. I reflect upon the last few weeks of veterans programs that occurred. 2 weeks ago, we had Armed Forces Day, which is to honor those people that are currently serving and those who have served. This past weekend, we had Memorial Day, and that was to represent and honor those who have passed before us as well as those currently serving or who will retire or whatever. We have to now look towards the future. And the reason for this event is because you, students, the graduates this year entering military service, are the future of our armed forces, our future leaders of our country. As you know, that less than 0.5% of the population serves in the armed forces. So you're going to be in an elite group of one of those less than 1%, and be proud of it. I hope you enjoy the evening tonight. We have some entertainment for you. There's going to be some music interlude. There's going to be a program that's very meaningful to all of you. And I wish you all the very best of luck. I'm happy to see the support of your family, your mentors in your schools, and I hope you have a very nice evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. As I stated earlier, this annual program that honors the students who have decided to serve their country would not be possible without the support of the West Hartford Board of Education. This time I'd like to introduce the Superintendent of Schools, Superintendent Tom Moore.
Thanks, Dr. Noel, for having me up here. Thanks to all of you and your families for coming tonight. This is one of the things I'm most proud to be a part of. It's relatively new. We started a few years ago, and it's the right thing to do, to bring recognition for those who are choosing to serve and choosing service. And yet, as much as I love this night, it is the single event I am most uncomfortable speaking at, because I don't feel like I've earned the right. And I look at the audience and see the people that are here, see the heroes that are here, see those of you that have made the choice to enter our services and be introduced by someone like Dr. Noel. I know that I'm not worthy, and I don't have lessons that I can teach you for my own service. My dad served in Korea, passed away a few years ago, and the lessons that he learned there, I believe, were some of the greatest teaching points and made him a great teacher about what we had to do and who we had to be as citizens. And that's going back to ancient Rome. The word citizen, and I don't mean in any political context, I mean the highest calling for all of us is to be a true citizen. Because to be a citizen wasn't a birthright. It was who you were by how you served each other. That it wasn't about what's in it for me. Being a citizen means what's in it for us. And how can I help us? And that's what you're all doing here. And I'd like to take credit for our schools and the products that we produce and the people that we produce. But I want to thank you families that have produced children that are willing to go forward for us. Not asking for much back from us, but being a part of us, growing up here in West Hartford, being a part of the community, being part of, I recognize some of you from youth baseball when my son played, and you're just taller now. But the fact that those kids, all of you, are now the adults going forward to protect us. I just want to speak as one father from West Hartford, one citizen of West Hartford, and I just really want to give my heartfelt thanks to all of you, from those of us in West Hartford who haven't served, but have relied on you to do it in the past, those heroes that I get to see here every year, and for those that are willing to do it in the future. It is much appreciated. God bless.
Thank you, John. The Hall High School choir leaders will now provide a musical this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. Thomas J. Sadi was confirmed the Commissioner of the Department of Veterans Affairs by the General Assembly on February 21st, 2019. He previously served as Acting Commissioner of the Department and also as Chief of Staff and General Counsel. Prior to his tenure in the Department of Veterans Affairs, he served 15 years as Assistant Attorney General and Special Prosecutor for the state of Connecticut. He received his commission in the Judge Advocate Branch of the U.S. Army Reserve in 2005, and he's currently a major in the 411th Civil Affairs Battalion in Danbury. He's a graduate of Western Connecticut State University and Quinnipiac School of Law. He lives in Danbury with his wife and 2 children. Commissioner Sadi.
Thank you, Colonel Knoll, for the introduction and for your service to our nation and your continued service to your brother and sister veterans. I'm not sure if Mayor's still here. Mayor Cantor, Town Manager Hart, my fellow Legionnaires, distinguished guests, most importantly, veterans and honorees. It's a privilege for me to participate in this salute to our military inductees, as it is only because of those who have served, those who continue to serve, and those who will serve, that all of us and all Americans are able to live in this free and democratic nation. The young men and women who will soon follow in the footsteps of the veterans who are here today will become part of a rich American military tradition. But unlike many other countries with rich military histories, our American military tradition is not one of conquest for the sake of glory, but a tradition of fighting for freedom. The freedom of 13 colonies, the fight to keep them free from reconquest, the fight to free an enslaved people in this nation, and the fight to keep that union whole. And then in World War I, to try to make the world safe for democracy, and then in World War II, to free Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Pacific from the tyranny of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. I want to pause here for a moment and ask our World War II veterans who are here, if they can, to please stand so that we can recognize them. I met one already, Mr. Ellman. I know there's another World War II veteran here. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Then in Korea, our veterans in Korea and in Vietnam aided a desperate people in the struggle against communist aggression. Then throughout the Cold War, we faced off against Soviet Russia and the Eastern Bloc. And since then, hundreds of thousands of American men and women in uniform have deployed in stability and security operations and in combat operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, and around the globe. For nearly 250 years, courageous Americans of every generation have stepped forward to fight for freedom. But not only our freedom as Americans, but for the freedom of hundreds of millions of people across the globe. The veterans here tonight led the way. No matter their branch, whether they served in peacetime or in war, domestically or abroad, active duty, guard, or reserve, they served. They raised their right hand and took that oath. I want them to all raise that right hand again, all our veterans and service members, so that we can see who you are, and thank you for your service. Thank you. The military inductees, the students with us tonight, will soon take that same oath. And in doing so, they will become part of the armed forces of the United States. And I can tell you, students here, from my own personal experience, that the United States military is among the most dynamic and diverse organization in the world, with men and women from every walk of life, ethnic group, and racial background, different religions, immigrants, and natural born. And while diverse, they all have one thing, they all have something in common. They are brothers and sisters in arms who volunteer to serve their nation so that the entire nation may live in freedom. You are all here today because you understand the meaning of service to country and service to community. However, for too many Americans, what we just commemorated this past weekend, Memorial Day, has just become the kickoff of summer. But while it is that kickoff of summer, a time for pool parties, fun with family and friends, and barbecues, and those things are all wonderful. I participated in them myself this past weekend. But what we must remember is when we do that, as we enjoy our daily lives, we must remind ourselves and remind others around us that we can only enjoy those things because of the service of our men and women in uniform. It is only because of their service that we continue as a nation. So let us thank our living veterans, memorialize our fallen heroes, and always remember that no matter one's feelings or beliefs about our nation's international or domestic policy, whether you agree or disagree with our leaders, that we must ensure that in this nation, a nation created and maintained by those in our armed forces, that we never let that disagreement stop us from supporting our men and women in uniform when they're in the fight and when they come home. We must not only support them, but their families, because the families who are here today know that the families serve along with their veterans when they're in uniform and when they come home. So let there be no more forgotten wars, no more forgotten veterans, and no more forgotten families of veterans. And I salute each of our students here today and those who could not join us. I salute them for their commitment to our nation. May God bless them, all of you, our veterans and armed forces, and the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Sadi, for those wonderful words. They were spot on. At this time, I'd like to invite Superintendent Tom Moore, Christian Cashman, President of Northwest Catholic, Julio Duarte, President of Conard High School, Dan Zatoun, President of Hall High School, and Post Commander Jeff Cole to join us here on stage for the presentation to our honorees. This is the most important part of our program as we recognize the young men and women this evening who has made a commitment to join a military program. I'd like to tell you what each honoree will be receiving tonight. They will receive a special cord which will be worn at graduation ceremony and recognizes them having made the decision to participate in the military program. They'll also be given a military commitment certificate of commendation and American Legion thank you coin in appreciation of their commitment. We're going to introduce the honorees now.
Maxwell Boyd.
Come on, right over here. Our first honoree is Maxwell Boyd. Maxwell will be graduating from Hall High School and will be attending Virginia Tech, enrolled in their Navy ROTC program. We want to congratulate Maxwell and wish him well at Virginia Tech. Go Hokies. I know you. Just stay right there. Our next honoree is Sunsaray Brown. She'll be graduating from Hall High School and will be entering the United States Marine Corps. We wish her the very best and thank her for serving. Semper Fi. Semper Fi. Our next honoree, James Chevalier, will be graduating from Conard High School and will be enlisting in the United States Army. Congratulations, James. Go Army, beat Navy.
Just stand right over here.
Our next honoree is Marcus Cruz. He'll be graduating from Conard High School and will be entering the United States Air Force. We wish him the very best and thank him for serving. Enjoy San Antonio and Lackland Air Force Base.
Good.
Bryson Denby, our next honoree, will be graduating from Conard High School and is also joining the United States Air Force. Congratulations to Bryson. Bryson, keep him flying, my man. Our next honoree, Lucas Diaz, will be graduating from Hall High School and will join the Army National Guard. Best wishes to Lucas. Keep us safe here in the state. Christina Gaudio, our next honoree, will attend the University of Chicago and will enroll in the Air Force ROTC program. She'll graduate from Conard High School later this month. We want to wish her success in the Windy City. Congratulations. Jacob Imerini, our next honoree, graduates from Northwest Catholic and will be enlisting in the United States Marine Corps. Congratulations, Jacob. We should continue success. Enjoy Paris Island. Semper Fi. Cheyenne Parker, our next honoree, will be graduating from Conard High School and will attend the University of Arizona, plans to enroll in the Army Reserves. Congratulations to Cheyenne and enjoy Tucson. Army strong.
You're in for it, buddy.
John Taylor, our next honoree, will be graduating from Hall High School and will be attending the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London. Enjoy Swab Summer. Go Cadets. Daniel Towner, our next honoree, will be graduating from Hall High School and will be enlisting in the United States Marines. Congratulations, Daniel. Thank you for your service. Semper Fi.
Ready? Read that before.
Our final honoree, Genesis Ward, will be graduating from Conard High School and has chosen to enlist in the United States Air Force. Thank you, Genesis, for your service commitment. We wish you the best as you go off into the wild blue yonder. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Yep. We'd also like to recognize several graduates who were unable to join us this evening, but who we honor equally based on their commitment to serve. You note their names in your program, and their service spans nearly every branch. From Conard High School, 2019 graduating class, Angel Guevara, United States Air Force, Ethan McCabe, Yukon Army ROTC, and Timothy Tobin, United States Marine Corps. From Hall High School, Isabel Raviv, United States Air Force, Hugh Wells, Mass Maritime Academy, and Jason Zamorano, United States Navy. At this time, I'd like to ask all the honorees to please come forward and join us here in front of the stage to accept our congratulations and best wishes from families and friends who are here this evening. So all you honorees, please come on up. Join Paul and Mo here in front of the stage. I know exactly what they're facing. At age 17, 4 days after graduating from high school, I joined the Army and got on a bus at Gulf Street Army in New Haven. So that's what they're going to be doing shortly. All right, let's give the honorees a big hand. At this time, I'd like to invite Wayne Rio to the podium. He'll be leading us in the generational passing of colors.
Thank you, Colonel Knoll. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and especially to our inductees. Serving your country is one of the most noble causes you will ever undertake. Thank you for making that decision. We're going to conduct the generational passing of the colors as soon as the veterans get to the stage. The passing of the colors is symbolic of the transfer of responsibility for an assembled unit. The colors symbolize the very soul of the military unit, for they record the glories of the past, stand guardian over its present destiny, and provide inspiration for the future. The colors carried significant importance in past ceremonies. The upheld colors are visible to the soldier in the battlefield, acted as a guide in the charge, and a rally point in times of battlefield confusion. This symbolism is represented in the generational passing of the colors, which serves to honor and thank all the valiant men and women of our armed forces who have served in the defense of our freedom from colonial times to present day and moving forward. As we begin, let's pause for a moment of silence to recognize those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. Please join me. Thank you very much. Go right in. Representing World War II is Staff Sergeant Francis King, a veteran of the United States Army Air Corps from 1943 to 1945. Staff Sergeant King served as a tail gunner in the 401st Bomb Group, 8th Air Force in Mildenhall, England, flying 36 combat missions over Germany and France. World War II ended with victory over Europe and then Japan on August 15, 1945. Pass the flag. Representing the Korean War is Staff Sergeant Kenneth Hungerford, a veteran of the United States Army from 1951 to 1953. Staff Sergeant Hungerford served in the 101st Artillery Battalion in South Korea. The Korean War ended on January 31st, 1955, although a peace treaty has never been signed. Pass the flag. Representing the Vietnam War is Sergeant Stuart Shermer, a veteran of the United States Army. Sergeant Shermer served in the 5th and 7th Special Forces in Loc Ninh, South Vietnam, 72 miles north of Saigon from 1965 to 1966. The Vietnam War ended on July 1st, 1975. Pass the flag. Representing Operation Iraqi Freedom is Commander Chris Bombara, a veteran of the United States Navy. Commander Bombara served with the U.S. Navy Expeditionary Logistics Force aboard the Navy destroyer USS Dahlgren from January 2014 to April 2015. The Iraq War ended in December 18, 2011, although the United States continues to maintain a peacekeeping force there. Pass the flag. Representing Operation Enduring Freedom is Tech Sergeant Helkin Sosa, a member of the Air National Guard. Sergeant Sosa is currently assigned to the 103rd Airlift Wing and twice deployed to Al Udeid Air Base, Qatar, in support of operations in the global war on terror. Operation Enduring Freedom, also known as the war in Afghanistan, continues today. Pass the flag. Representing the next generation and future of our military is Sunzaray Brown, a graduating senior from Hall High School who will be inducted into the United States Marine Corps. She represents this group of students we honor here this evening. Sunzaray accepts guardianship of our flag, symbolizing the sacrifice of all service members and the responsibility to safeguard our liberties. Detail dismissed.
Thank you, Mr. Rio. That was excellent. Honorees, you may return to your seats. I would now like to ask Dave Peliuk, a member of the Board of Education, to offer some closing remarks.
Thank you so much. My name is Dave Peliuk. I'm a member of the Board of Education. On behalf of all the members of the Board of Education, I'd like to congratulate our honorees on their decision to join the armed forces. Believe it or not, I was once in your shoes many, many years ago. I was thinner, I had more hair. I signed up for the Army shortly before high school graduation, and I deployed. I went to basic training in mid-August of that year. I had a 6-week summer. That summer and the 3 years of my Army service that followed were some of the best years of my life. Many of you will soon be heading off for basic training, so I thought I'd share a couple of stories from my experience in basic training. Now, one of the things that we've learned over time is that what happened with me may be different than what happens with you and your experience in training, but I hope you enjoy your experience. While it's tough, you can always find the humor in the different things that you go through. One of my favorite memories from basic was that first week. That's a time when you get your uniforms, you're issued your boots, you get your dog tags, and you get a haircut. And for the gentleman, that's going to be the quickest haircut you ever get. It's real fast. And we also got our vaccinations. And in my day, they had the air injections. And it was an assembly line kind of thing where you would walk up and they had a person on each side. They'd grab your arm and then you'd take a few steps forward, get the next set of injections. And this went on until I had 4 on the left arm and 3 on the right. Now, this was the Army, and this was basic training. So what do you think we did next? Push-ups? That's right. They had us out there doing push-ups. The drill sergeant said that was the best way to get the medicine to circulate. I tell you what, it was a good learning experience. Now, in the Army, they fed us, and they fed us well. It was good food, and I gained a few pounds. But after a while, you get to missing home. You get to missing some of the food that you usually go have. For me, it was something simple. I just wanted some fast food, a Big Mac, or forgive me, maybe even some Taco Bell would be good at a certain point, right? And it turns out that I wasn't alone, because there were a couple guys in my platoon who somehow got to a phone and they ordered a pizza. And it was from a place I'll never forget. It was called Godfather's Pizza. Godfather's Pizza is a pizza you can't refuse. That was their slogan. But unfortunately for the guys who placed the order, they never received the pizza. You see, drill sergeants know all and see all. And the drill sergeant intercepted this pizza before it could ever be delivered to the guys. So the drill sergeant got the whole platoon together, and he said, "Gentlemen, we're going to have a pizza funeral." What's a pizza funeral? Well, imagine a platoon of 50 trainees or so. He lined us up here in 2 columns. We faced each other. And the gentleman who'd ordered the pizza had to slowly march towards the dumpster with a pizza. This was a pizza funeral, and it was an open box funeral. It was one of the saddest occasions I've ever experienced. To top it off, the drill sergeant had us sing, "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," as the pizza passed, and the gentleman had to slowly raise the box, and the pizza slid into the dumpster, much like a burial at sea. Oh, what a day. But finally, I did get some time off, and I got to go have that Big Mac, about 3 months after I joined the service. Well, it's just a couple of things, and if you look around, you can find the humor in everything. Keep track of the stories. Share them with your families. You'll be going through things that they haven't experienced, and they want to know about it. And families, your children, your friends, the ones who are going into the service, they want to know what's going on back home. So please keep in touch. Take pictures. both sides. Take pictures of everything you can, because when you get to be my age, you'll want to remember that. You want to remember the equipment that you worked on, the friends you had, the places you went. Take it all in. And you know what? Someday, when you're about my age, you'll look back and you'll say, 2019 was one of the best years of my life. Wish you all the best. Thank you for your service, and look forward to hearing your stories in the future.
Good memories.
Thank you, Dave. As I mentioned at the beginning of the ceremony, the American Legion would like to thank the Board of Education for their support in making this evening possible. We'd especially like to thank Paul Vysidis, Assistant Superintendent, Lori Foote, Department Supervisor for School Counseling, Amy LaRose for all her works with graphics and the photography, and a very special thank you to Mary Ann Hall. Your effort and dedication were instrumental in making this evening a great success. Before I ask Monsignor Kinane to offer the benediction, I'd like to congratulate the parents and families of our honorees. Would the parents and the families of the honorees please stand and accept our congratulations for all your guidance and support of these outstanding young men and women. Come on, Mom and Dad, stand up. Thank you very, very much. Monsignor Kinane.
A reminder to our honorees tonight that they have been surrounded by a lot of people for the last 2 years who loved them, cared for them, and took good care of them, and was considered their good well-being the main part of their lives as well. Your families, your parents especially, your friends. And in light of what Dave Pollock had to say, you are about to meet in the future, maybe for some very soon, others in the distant future, another group of people who love you and who care for you and who want the best for you and are going to be around there to help you anytime you can. Drill instructors. Or training instructors. Drill sergeants. They love you. You may not think so, but they do. Keep that in mind, okay? They want you to succeed. They don't want you to fail. They are your friends. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. Keep that in mind too, okay? As you take your next step, whenever that basic training comes. For the families and friends too, another good point that Dave made. Letters are very important, especially during basic training. Keep those letters coming from home. They make a bleak day good. They can turn things around. Letters are very, very important. So letters or emails or whatever, keep in touch during those times, all right? In Thanksgiving now for the celebration we've had tonight, and for all the hard work that has gone into it, and especially for the wonderful future of our honorees tonight. Let us pray now. Lord God, creator of heaven and earth, as we look forward to our future tonight, may we learn from the works of others in our past, from those who taught us well and from those who did not. Guide our future decisions to be good ones for ourselves and for those around us. Help us as we are reminded to be the best we can be, and not to demand too much of others, but only of ourselves. We know that we cannot change the world, but we can change ourselves. Our special prayer tonight, I'd like you all to join with me if you know it, in the wonderful serenity prayer. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thanks for being here, and many, many good years in the future to all.
Thank you, Monsignor Kinane. This concludes our ceremony for this evening. On behalf of the American Legion, I would sincerely like to thank all the participants, all the families, and all the honorees for joining us tonight. Thank you very, very much.